In the last 15 years, IRS has paid out more than $1 billion to whistleblowers. And this $1 billion has been paid out to only about 2,500 people. Of course, all of this is completely legal. In fact, IRS operates a whistleblower office with a full-time staff of 40 people just to help the whistleblowers, help IRS, and get rewarded in the process. Stay on to find out how you can get a slice of this legal payout scheme being operated by our government. And if you're thinking about any ethical concerns, you'll find out why it may not be applicable in this situation. So what exactly is an IRS whistleblower? To understand the need and role of a whistleblower, we first need to understand the concept of the tax gap. So the gross tax gap is the difference between the true tax liability in a given year that the IRS estimates and the actual amount that it collects. And the gap exists mainly because of the three reasons: non-filing, underreporting, underpayment. IRS estimated this gap to be around $470 billion for the year 2016-17. That's the latest year for which data is available. I'm sure the amount would be much larger now. So the government and the IRS have turned to the general population for help in reducing this tax gap. They have instituted rewards for people and businesses who provide information on individuals and businesses who underreport or somehow hide their income taxes. They have instituted rewards for people who provide tips on individuals and businesses who substantially underpay their income taxes. These informants are called whistleblowers. In October 2021, CFTC made waves by granting an award of $200 million to a single whistleblower. That marked the largest financial award ever dispensed under the whistleblower program. Wow! So this is both big and real. But why didn't we really hear about it earlier? Is this something new? Whistleblowing awards have in fact been around for over a century. However, in their early days, these rewards were not exactly sparking enthusiasm among the potential whistleblowers to provide tips about tax avoidance and underreporting. One big issue was IRS complete authority and discretion in giving these awards. The awards themselves were also quite limiting, maxing out at about 15% of the tax collected. An individual award had a cap of about $10 million. On top of that, these rewards were pretty hush-hush, nobody talked about them, and the submission and review process were pretty unorganized. Imagine waiting a period of 7.5 years between filing a claim and receiving an award. No wonder nobody was really coming forward. Fortunately, Congress took a note of this problem and introduced a legislation, actually in 2006. That was a game changer. Now, under 26 USC 7623B, the IRS is required to issue a reward to whistleblowers to the tune of 15 to 30% of the tax collected. Congress also removed the previous cap of $10 million on these awards. Thus, if a whistleblower meets the requirements and causes the IRS to recover a large amount, the rewards can be pretty substantial. Wow, this seems really generous. So what are the requirements for a whistleblower to be paid by IRS? There are three main requirements. Number one, the whistleblower will provide a tip that the IRS decides to act on. See, the whistleblower cannot force the IRS to act on the tip. Number two, the amount under dispute, including interest and penalties, must exceed at least $2 million. Now, the IRS has the discretion to give some payouts even for amounts less than $2 million. But once it exceeds $2 million, Congress has mandated that they absolutely have to pay the whistleblower a reward. And third, it results in IRS actually collecting the tax which was underreported. But is it morally or ethically correct to snitch on somebody and then benefit from it? Good question. We're going to answer that in a minute. But first, let me tell those of you who are ready to move forward how to file this claim with the IRS. If you would like to initiate a whistleblower claim, you need to file that claim through the IRS whistleblower office. This step is critical and it carries the weight of penalty for perjury. Utilize IRS Form 211, also known as Application for Award of Original Information, to formalize your claim. Once your form makes into the hands of whistleblower office, they will institute their process of scrutinizing and evaluating the incoming tips. If your submission makes the cut, that form and that information will be handed over to the relevant IRS office for further action. When it comes to award payments, patience is the key. See, they won't be disbursed until IRS has completely collected all the outstanding amount, including interest, penalty, and any other charges that the IRS may put on the taxpayer. And there are certain circumstances under which your claim may even be denied. If the IRS had prior knowledge of this same information from some other source, or if the investigation results in finding no liability of the taxpayer, or maybe the liability is found but IRS is unable to collect, and it can happen when, for example, the taxpayer has no assets. I think I have full clarity now. But I'm still conflicted with the ethical concerns. Is it morally right? Okay, let's discuss. There have been ethical concerns around this program, but not in a way that you might think. Don't look at it as snitching on an individual or a corporation. Paying legally required taxes is a civic duty. You and I do it. So if somebody is not paying their taxes, you're basically reporting a crime. The real moral dilemma is regarding the cash payment that the IRS is offering to the whistleblower. There are some who point out that it's okay to report crime, but you should do it as a sense of civic duty and your moral righteousness, not for those funds that IRS or the government will pay. And they have a point. An April 2021 study from Harvard Business School analyzed 1,600 employees, whistleblowers, who were engaged in lawsuits between 1994 to 2012. It found that when whistleblowers responded to a financial incentive, the information provided by them tend to be more substantial and more credible, ultimately leading to improved legal outcomes. Another research paper from Stockholm Institute of Transition Economics, released in 2021, revealed that about 83% of the whistleblowers first reported the issue internally before approaching the SEC, and an even larger portion, about 90% of them, had first raised their claims with their supervisor. So rest assured that you are doing the right thing by helping the society and getting some benefits in the process. But if you still feel conflicted, IRS does provide an option for whistleblowers to provide this information while refusing any financial incentive. And there you have it, a complete guide on how to earn money by becoming a whistleblower for the IRS. And if you enjoyed this video, you may also be interested in this other video I made about the Fair Tax Code that will completely eliminate the IRS itself. I would greatly appreciate if you can hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Bye.